Hi, my name is Basima.
Hi, my name is Lem.
Hi, my name is Rayan.
Hi, my name is Azadeh.
And
Welcome to our classroom game.
This game can be adapted for use in any key learning area to demonstrate to students the impact of being an English as an additional language or dialect learner. Here we will demonstrate to you how the game works using the version we have developed for a Stage 5 mathematics classroom. Let's begin with your setup.
The game begins somewhat differently from other games, with how the game works only being explained to one half of your student group. This is to replicate the idea of EAL learners coming into environments where the rules and conventions are already set up and they weren't necessarily explained to them, as they are the rules of an existing culture that they are working in.
Firstly, we have set up a board of sorts on the ground here with the students in the start square. But you can do this using sheets of numbered paper. You'll notice that some of our squares are marked with C's for chance and Q for question. The game begins somewhat differently from other games, with the students being split into two groups and one group having the rules explained to them in full and the other only having been told to just go and join the game and do their best. Having the students separated and some of them waiting outside whilst the others have the full rules explained to them is to simulate what it's like to come into a culture that's... Students are taking turns, rolling the dice and moving the number of squares, or answering a question or responding to a chance. If you roll a Q or you land on a Q square, then you have to answer one of the question cards over here. The questions are all related to the KLAs, but so you can adjust them for your own KLA and your stage of your student. As you can see, Lamb's here landed on a Q square, which means that she has to answer a question.
When a student has to answer a question, they have 15 seconds to answer correctly. If they manage this, they can move forward one square. If they don't, they move back one square. The teacher will read the question and check the student answer. Here is an example. Making the question wordier than necessary adds the more impact of language when there is a time limit to answer, as EALD learners often report being rusted and struggling when there are more words.
This time a C has been rolled, which means that the student needs to respond to a chance card. Basima has landed on a chance square, which means that she needs to respond to a chance card that the teacher will read based on what team she's in.
You'll notice we have two piles of chance cards. These are color-coded for the two groups. Group A being white and Group B being pink. Group A, who had the rules explicitly explained to them, tends to receive cards that reinforce their comfort with English and thus the classroom in general, like this one. Group B cards, like this one, have real-life experiences of EALD learners on them and tend to disadvantage them. These cards are based on issues such as belonging and exclusion, being rushed and being unfamiliar with expressions and cultural products that are language-heavy. The teacher reads these cards out, as the teacher is the only person who begins by knowing that there are two different sets of chance cards.
The game has a number of advantages. Firstly, we begin by taking real-life scenarios, either drawn from our own experiences as students with English as an additional language or dialect, or from those that we've known who have been in such positions. So it's real. The game also requires very few resources. You can just use paper, some chalk or masking tape to draw your squares, some markers or doing some printing to make your cards, and a die, which we made out of a tissue box. And you can even adapt a regular die and just assign questions or chance to some of the numbers on there. The game's also really adaptable. You can play it inside your classroom or outside on a good day. You can put in your own questions for a different KLA or a different stage. The game's also really entertaining and engaging because of the physicality, and having students move around is just going to be so much more fun for them than sitting at a desk. The disadvantages are that the game needs quite a bit of time, both to play it, but also with setting up the classroom. You will need to spend some time setting up your classroom to get your squares on. You might have to move desks out of the way, etc. Of course, you can ask students to assist you with this without giving away exactly what's going to happen next. You also might need to arrange some extra supervision depending on your class. When you split up the class and explain the rules to one group, you need to be in a separate space from the other group. So you're either going to have them standing outside or the group that you're explaining the rules to standing outside of your classroom probably. So you might need to arrange some extra supervision depending on the class. We're just going to stress though that this game, while it does shed light on these issues, it's only a starting point. So after you've played the game, it's really important to spend some time discussing the issues that have come up for your students. And be aware that some of these things might be difficult. They could be really personal for some of your students who have experienced these things, and that can create some vulnerability. And it might also have been really difficult from some of your students who don't have additional languages to have dealt with being confronted with the disadvantages of others in your class. Let's get playing though.